Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 223, out here at Unbeaten CrossFit, Staten Island, with Mike here. We're talking about kettlebell technique, and we're talking about the two biggest power leakages that we have when we start doing kettlebell swings, right? The number one, and the most common one by far that I see, is the muted hip. So we're gonna have Mike start here, and he's gonna start with that common muted hip problem that we see. Scooch around so they can see you right there. No. Profile, there you go. Like you did something bad. So basically what we're seeing here is, if you notice, Mike has this kind of like early heel rise. Whenever I see kettlebell swings where the guys raising their heels, I already know they're having a muted hip. Drop it down. Here's the reason why. When I come here and I come up onto my toes, no matter how far I extend my hips, you can see, since my knees have to be bent for me to come up my toes, I will never fully extend. If I do, I'll have to come back like that. What I want to see is, I want to see myself stand straight up. I basically try to drive my head through the ceiling as I come and stand all the way up. And that is how I fully extend my hip. If I don't, I'm basically taking out the biggest power source that I have when I'm doing those kettlebell swings. So what I'm going to tell Mike right here is, I'm going to tell him to try to drive his head through the ceiling, keep his heels on the ground. And you'll notice, right there, just that little cue, he's just standing tall. I'm just trying to stand tall, keep my head, drive through the ceiling, drive my heels into the ground. Second biggest leakage that we go. We start going elbow deep, and we kind of jokingly say, elbow deep's only all right on Friday nights, right? Every other day, wrist deep is okay. So what we're talking about here is accepting the kettlebell. Why do we end up going elbow deep? We end up going elbow deep is because we don't catch the kettlebell Willie Mays style, okay? What we want to see is, we want to see him receive it with his hips. Just receive one and stop. Receive it with his hips, and we want to see his wrist almost smash himself in the crotch, right? That's a good position, even if he gets his chest over a little bit right here. What happens is, show me one where you let the belt fall down. When we get lazy with our hips, right? It torques our torso over, and that's when we get elbow deep. And we know this from everything else. This is not an optimal pulling position. We want to get everything in the pocket there, because now we can use those hips that we just talked about. So you can see how these are interrelated. If we have a muted hip, we reduce power. If we can't use our hips, reduce power. So two things that we care about: staying on our heels and keeping our wrist, the kettlebell, in the pocket. Show me a couple good ones. Boom. Awesome. All right, come on now. All right, so guys, keep in mind those two things. Muted hip, first thing that we look at when we're looking for a muted hip, is that early rise of the heels. We know that they're keeping their hip muted, they're not fully extended, not fully standing upwards. Second thing is, wrist deep, not elbow deep. Keep those two things together, improve those two things, you're gonna improve your efficiency while you're doing your kettlebell swings. Mike, thank you so much. Guys, until tomorrow, we are optimizing function to optimize performance.